Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Friday. Let me see if I can. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Good to see you. Sorry. I think I want to. Let's see. This will help. All right. I am Sean Azimi with Sidekick. That's much better, right? SidekickSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome. Good to see you. Sorry it's late again, and but I'll make it worth your while. Yes, Jenny, you are asleep, and this will probably put you to deep sleep. It'll be quick, but it's really good. So, I'll start it this way. So there's a quote by Kaiser, and the quote says, and I love this quote, and I heard this quote from the interview that we posted. We actually posted it this morning because we had difficulty posting it last night. I'll post a link tomorrow for you guys. But the interview with Coach Allen. But there was, remember that he had a quote notebook, and I got myself a quote notebook too. So the quote from Kaiser says, "If your work is speaking for itself, don't interrupt." If your work is speaking for itself, don't interrupt. That's so good. Now, Kaiser, this is the same guy as Kaiser Permanente, like the medical, Kaiser Steel. I think he had Kaiser Aluminum. He had his hand in bunch of the different things. His motto was to find a hole and fill it. That's it. Find a hole and fill it. So that was his motto. Now some say that this quote, is an adaptation from my man Mark Twain. You guys know I'm a big fan of Mark Twain. His quote said, if you've done a good job, don't take too much time telling the audience about it. They'll find out for themselves. Oh, you want to cut? Oh, wow. Okay. Actually, believe it or not, I'm not a fan of Kaiser, but I'm not a big fan of Kaiser, but hey, but the man has done some really good stuff. So the quote, if your work speaks for itself, don't interrupt. It's so good. Here's the reason why. I feel like the people that really need to start explaining their work and how good they are, or really brag about themselves all day long and just kind of be boastful about it, if you would. Brad, what are you doing up? Not the best, yeah. So if you really have to talk about it and you really got to brag about it. Now, it's one thing if people don't know you, but it's another thing if people know you and you still got to brag about yourself and talk about yourself and kind of explain, So in that case, then your work is not speaking for itself. You are. Did you catch that? See, if you're really good at what you do, you don't need to be talking about it. It already shows. Like my man Mark Twain, I look over there because I got a bunch of books from him. If your work is good, and oh man, let me show you something. This is one of my favorite. This is one. Okay, so at the end of the night, I put my notebooks and everything away. My desk has to look like normal. Like I got to take care of everything that's on my desk. That's kind of been my thing for a long time. So I got to put everything back, So anyway, you guys know I'm a little nuts. So I have this notebook, and this is a quote from Robin Williams, and I just love this quote. Just this is like my go-to quote. Be so good they can't ignore you. Same way, you're basically your work speaks for itself. If you're so good that they can't ignore you, and I love this quote. I just cannot tell you how much I love this quote, and it suggests that, you know what, if they don't notice you, if they don't take you seriously, if you're lost in the conversation, it's just you're not good enough. That's how it translates to me, right? You're not good enough. You just got to get better and better and better and better so that they can't ignore you. I just love this quote, right? And it's the same thing with your work. If you're doing great job, now here's the thing, if you're doing a sucky job, a horrible job, guess what? That speaks loud as well. It's naive to think that it's only good work that speaks loud. It's not. When when my parents are here and they eat my food, when I cook and when they eat my food, I know that they're liking the food and they really enjoy the food if they don't say anything while they're eating. I just know. Now, if they keep talking and talking while they're eating, I know the food isn't that good. That's a little secret for you, right? Because normally when people talk and talk and talk and talk, it just, you're that's fun. You got to have that work do the talking instead of you advertising for your work. Because if you're talking, you're advertising for your work, right? But if you're good, like in my company, for example, well, for example, let's just say in the profession, right? Let's say, here we go. I'll give you this example. Let's say Kobe, okay? I don't think he needed to explain to people, hey, I'm a pretty good basketball player. How dumb would that sound? Seriously, how dumb would that sound if somebody says, Kobe, I'm a pretty good basketball player. It's like, really? Right? Sounds kind of dumb, right? But if nobody knows Kobe, if it were before Kobe was Kobe, right, then he would have to explain to people, hey man, I'm a basketball player. I'm good, But if your work speaks for itself, don't interrupt. Means don't start yapping. Don't start talking. Just keep doing what you're doing. In my company, there's a couple people that come in mind, okay? But the one person that most people outside my company know him and his wife is John and Nadia Melton. Now these two, nobody asks them and they don't interrupt. You know why? Because their work speaks for themselves. It's just amazing. And I love that quote. That's another quote that I absolutely love, and I put it in my notebook. Now I have 3 quotes in here. I love that quote because it really magnifies what needs to be the focus. See, you can't miss that point. The whole focus, it's supposed to be the work. It's the message. The work is the message, if you would. So Remember this, and remember that if your work is speaking and you're doing well, zip it. Don't say much. Don't start explaining. Don't start talking. Just keep doing what you're doing. And if it's not that way, then we know what we have to strive for. We know what we need to work on to get there. That's the beauty of it. See, I have this as a reminder, not because I am this person. I'm not. I want to be this person. I want to be so good that people won't be able to ignore me. I want to be so good that I don't have to tell people, hey, I want to speak on your stage. I want to be that good so I'm not ignored, right? And you only get to that point when your work is speaking for itself. It's so powerful, which is so crazy that we literally connected 3 different authors, right? Or 3 different people with the same message, if you would. We connected Kaiser, Twain, and my man Robin Williams, right? So it's amazing that these 3 messages come together. It actually is. It's pretty incredible that these 3 messages come together. One is that, hey, if your work speaks for itself, don't interrupt. 2, be so good they can't ignore you. 3, if you've done a good job, don't take too much time explaining to the audience. They'll find out for themselves. And if you and I are not there, then again, that's something to work on. That's something to be excited for. I actually truly I am looking forward to the day that I get to this position, that my work speaks for itself and I don't need to go around telling people, right? And that's the time. I really thought about that when I got that quote. I think that's the time you truly are onto something. Like you're on your purpose. You're living your purpose. You're pursuing your purpose, as I often say, right? I think you're on the right path at that time. When your work speaks for itself, they can't ignore you, right? They talk about your good work. So I think that's something to strive for, and that's something to really go for. So hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. Jenny, I appreciate you staying up. I have no idea why, because I'm falling asleep right now, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And with that, drop one takeaway. I want to hear one takeaway from this live. Drop it in the comments below. Strive for earlier lives. I love it. I know. It's going to be 111 in 1 minute. It's 110. I digress. Oh, thank you for the stars. I appreciate you, Jenny. And if you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you gotta do. Spread the love. Tag a couple people. Share it on your wall. It's okay. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.